All right, we are live. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. Jess, if you want to take roll, and then I'm going to, or
Well,
well,
I can do it.
or
I
someone,
can-
Jason can do it
yep.
for us? Okay, great.
Bush. Greenlee. Here. Harris. Here. Here. Myers. Longstreet.
Here.
McCaffrey.
Here.
Reinhardt. Reichart. Sorry. Rice.
Here.
Sachs.
Here.
All right, and the first order of business is I am going to be turning the reins over to Jane today because this is one of those instances where the president cannot fulfill the speaking role today. So Jane's going to be running the meeting today for me. Thanks, Jane.
You bet. All right.
For us, I should say.
Next on the agenda, absences. I know Phil had let us know that he wouldn't be here. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? I believe we do have a closed session, correct, Jason? So
Yes.
we did not get a packet for that, but we'll go into closed session after our business meeting. All right, approval of the minutes from our previous meeting in the packet. Is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Thank you, Lucas.
Second.
Bruce? Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Communications. Anything, Jason? We didn't show anything on the agenda, so we will move on to public comment. And we do have Chris Marcatos here who would like to make public comment. So Chris, welcome.
Hi.
Come on up to the, come on up to the podium and,
I'm Chris. I was just driving through. I got an email from Jason today, so I just figured I'd stop by. I am one of the property owners that bought the piece of land between Riverside Park and Bass River Rec. So one, I just wanted to give my gratitude to Kurt and Jason for working with me on, and you guys approving shutting down the easement until it is built. We have had ongoing issues, and I just wanted to kind of document those as today. And since it was convenient, since purchasing that property, we have replaced our fence 3 times due to trespassing issues. My pregnant wife went down to the water and had giant fish thrown on our property from people that are not happy with us purchasing it. So again, I really appreciate that. But I just want to say that and stress that, it kind of comes down to the top. I understand the history of that property, and a lot of people are upset it did turn into private property. But when communication from the top is unhappy with it, it really trickles down to those people that visit those areas as well, and then turns into how they treat us. So I don't think we have anything to do with why they sold it. They did. The past is the past. I wish I could buy Apple stock in 2000, but I can't. And I agree that I wish you guys probably would have bought it when you guys had the chance, but it sold once and then sold again to us. So again, I really appreciate working with Kurt and Jason. They've been a pleasure to work with. But it is an ongoing issue that we do still have issues with trespass, and just pressing getting that trail done so we can fence it off and not being 3 years, 4 years, or 5 more years down the road would be really grateful from us. Anyways, thank you guys.
yeah, thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to make public comment? If you're watching on YouTube, you can make a comment or use the comment function to let us know your thoughts if you would like to.
Hi, I'm from Great Haven Area Public Schools. Am I participating in the public comment, or is that?
We actually have you on the.
You're on our agenda. Yep.
I got excited.
Okay. You're free to make public comment as well, but
How many extra minutes? do I
3 minutes, 3 more
Great.
minutes.
yeah, we'll get to you in a few minutes. Thanks for being here. All right. We'll move on to staff reports. And first up is the director's report with Jason. You've got Jason's report in your packet. Anything you want to highlight, Jason?
Nope. I included the presentation to Georgetown Township. So I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Question. Do we
Yes,
need
Phil.
to approve the agenda? And the minutes from the previous.
We did the minutes.
Did-
We did.
Mhm.
Did we do the agenda?
We don't.
No, we don't do that.
Just the minutes.
Just
We
if
don't do the
there's
agenda, just the minutes.
Any additions or
In
deletions?
additions and comments is where that happens.
But we did do the minutes. So did you have any issues with the minutes? Okay. All right. Any questions for Jason? And or comments? All right. Yeah, thanks for including your presentation. It went well, I understand, and at Georgetown?
Mhm.
Good. Excellent.
It was standing room only. They weren't all there to see me.
And you attribute that to you?
There's, I think,
All right.
concerns they'd had a recent increase in their water bill. and
Yeah, I
think,
heard about that.
sounds like so.
All right, we'll move on to park operations. Jason, too.
All right, well, we've had a busy month of trying to get some improvements done. One of the ones that I definitely wanted to highlight was the gravel that was put down on the trails at Paw Paw. For those of you who've ever walked those trails that are on the section of Paw Paw Park that was formerly owned by the city, they flood quite often and they're always muddy and hard to walk. The city had obviously done some work in the past to try to mitigate that, but it had, flooded several times since then and had become many of the trails unwalkable again. We put down 84 tons of gravel, replaced a whole bunch of culverts. There was a bunch of wooden culverts that the city had used, which is interesting. But replaced those with more modern drainage culverts and trying to get the wetlands in that area to continue to flow from one side of the trail to the other, even with the gravel we put down. And it's made a huge difference in the walkability of those trails. And I'm really excited to see what they look like in the spring. Hopefully we did enough. In addition to that, we've also, I wanted to just point out that the Muscatawa Trail, which the state has been working on, is it's going really well. They've actually got pavement down in some of the areas. They're still telling us that they don't plan to have it fully completed and opened until almost the end of the summer, which was surprising to me considering they've got pavement on a good portion of the Ottawa County part now, and people will be riding it whether they have trail closed signs up or not. As long as there's pavement, people are going to be on there. But it is a huge improvement, especially with all those wooden bridges gone now and the box culverts instead. Other than that, you can see a lot of other stuff going on this month. I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys might have.
So with the Muscatawa Trail, do they have to suspend over the winter? Or will they
Yeah,
be able to
there's,
do
at this
anything?
point, there's no, they're telling us that it's not open for snowmobiling this winter.
Okay. Any questions for Martin?
I have one question, just because I don't know all the background of Paw Paw Park. The portion that was owned by the city in the past, is that this part on the west side
Correct.
of Paw Paw Drive?
Correct. That was, the portion that we originally purchased was the former Country Club golf course. And the portion to the west was a city park already and had been for many years. When we purchased the golf course and converted that to a Frisbee golf course and trails, we worked with the city in a partnership to take over that, basically economy of scale. We were already over there. We were already doing what needed to be done over there. And so we took that section over from them, and they gave us some capital improvement money in that deal. And we've been working on projects there ever since.
Okay.
So it's, we put the playground in, which wasn't there before. We renovated the shelter and have done quite a bit of trail work, including bridges and boardwalks. And then maybe most significantly, the buildup we did this late summer.
Yeah, I'll have to get back out there and check that out. Thanks.
Yeah, we also repaved the parking lot since that time.
Yes,
So there's
yes,
quite a
we
bit.
did.
It's in pretty good shape now. Other than the waterfront, we still have some things we'd like to do.
Well,
on it.
along the waterfront there this fall, we also did remove the remnants of the old overlook that was there that had, most of it had fallen into the river over the years, and we'd removed piece by piece by piece. And at this point, there was only just a small railing left and not much else. And so we removed that completely. But in an effort to keep the intent of what that was, we took a section of portable dock that we had in storage and put it on the lower portion of that portion of the river there, so people can get out and fish and launch a kayak or whatever off of that portion of dock we put in there. Now we'll be taking that out probably in late November and then putting it back in next spring after the floodwaters have gone down. Because it's just like a section of dock with legs that just goes out and comes back in. So we did that as well.
Linda?
Jason, can you tell me a little bit more about what we're doing for the trespassers on that piece of property? I know we put some signage up, didn't we?
Yeah, both the us and the state have put signage up, and then you guys passed a resolution to officially close that section until such time as the bike path is built. Kate, the supervisor out there, she does go out there and checks to make sure the signs are still there. Nobody has taken any out. They have been covered once or twice, and so we've uncovered them to allow people to still know that it is closed. Beyond that, I know that he has cameras on his structure there, so I think, and honestly, I think that's one of the biggest deterrents is people that might be out there to do bad things when they see the cameras, that hopefully that makes them turn around.
Sheriff's Department is working with us as well.
Sheriff Department is well aware of the situation. We've talked to him a few times about it, and I'm sure that he has as well. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm sure he has as well.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else for Jason? Lucas?
The Muscatawa Trail, is that the entire trail or just the Ottawa County portion?
They are working on both the Ottawa County and Muskegon County portion of it. They started with our portion, but they are also working on the Muskegon portion right now. They will finish our portion first, and it's still up in the air whether they're going to open it section by section or whether they're going to wait to say it's open until the whole thing is done.
Okay.
So that date we're getting of August of next year is the date for the whole thing to be done. So with any luck, they're going to say, well, half of Ottawa County is done right now and it's May and we can open it up. That's my hope, but I don't know. We're at their mercy.
Thank you.
Anything else for Jason? All right, thank you. We will move.
Sure. There's a few things I want to point out, but this is a good segue. Just so you know, the portion of the trail we're talking about with Chris is what we call Bass River Phase 1, right? We have an easement that crosses a corner of his property. So the schedule, I put it in my report, but we're waiting for the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant agreement to come through. It's a little complex because it's actually coming through the state. They applied for it, and we need a formal agreement with them. The plans themselves, I just talked to the engineer yesterday. They're ready here in the next week or two. We have all our permits. So as soon as that grant goes through, we will go out for bids and try to get it constructed. I certainly hope next year. I would be surprised if it doesn't happen next year. So on that, and then just to draw your attention, I put quite a few dates in my report this time. There's a few things going on. The Allendale section of the trail, we're having a public open house tomorrow at Allendale Township Hall. It's 4:30 to 7:30. We're just inviting people to come in if they want to talk about their particular situation, if they do, or just want to learn more about the project. And we'll of course have boards about the whole Greenway project too. So we'll see what comes out of that, but hopefully we get some positive responses. The Rotary Overlook at Ottawa Sands, there's a ribbon cutting for that next week, the 24th. That's a Wednesday at 5 o'clock. I think everybody here would be invited. We're kind of coordinating with the Rotary to have.
It's the Rotary's event, and they picked the date, so we were coordinating with them. We will. I think Katie asked if they would want to have parks commissioners. So we'll forward that to you.
All right, and then, there's a couple other events I'm sure you already have on your calendar, the Bobby Sabine Trail, where we've got the plaque came in, so that always makes me feel good, and there's a base for it, so we will have the plaque on the base before that time, and if it is before, it won't be revealed until that day. Working quite hard now to get ready for Rosie Mound dedication. It's on October 8th, so we've got a few things that are going to be in by that time. We're going to have trail maps and signage up. Should have the crosswalk. Thank you, Road Commission. I got my approval to put the crosswalk in just the other day, so we've got someone lined up to put that in. And so that should be in by that date as well. So that's all good. One other thing I just wanted to mention, because Jessica was happy to hear this. The Friends donated some money to do a kiosk at Kirk Park or Tunnel Park, excuse me. We have a contractor working at Kirk and Tunnel on the stairways and stuff, but he built it, so it's already in. It doesn't have a map on it yet, but it is a nice kiosk. So that was nice to have that done right away. Other than that, happy to answer any questions about my written report.
You want to mention the ceremony we went to last week?
So this was for Ottawa Sands. Our consultant bureau submitted an award nomination for Ottawa Sands, and in particular the camp, and it won an honor award from the Michigan Society of Landscape Architects. That's the highest award they give on a yearly basis. So yeah, Jason and I went to that event downtown Grand Rapids last week. So we got another nice plaque. We'll put it on. It's in the office. So yeah, very good.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Any questions for Kurt?
Yeah, I do. As far as the Rosie Mound Crosswalk, is that one of those with the solar panels and
Yep.
the flashing lights?
Solar panels. It's going to be button activated, right? So you come up button and it'll flash both ways. Yep. And this is, see how you like it, but we're hoping, and I think we have money in the next year's budget to do it at the other parks along Lakeshore Drive. So 3 other locations.
So it's like the one on Green Street now.
Yeah, similar to that. Yep, similar to that.
Nice.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Kurt. We will move on to community engagement. Jessica.
All right, well, like Kurt, I have a handful of dates up at the top, so lots of stuff going on. A couple that were mentioned. I'd also really like to draw your attention to a couple of items. The Oak Wilt management in county parks would be a great event if you have oak wilt on your property or know someone who does, who's interested in learning more. That will be led by our NRM team. So we've continued to partner with them to ensure that the work that they're doing is being highlighted and shared with the community, because as we know, forest pests are making their way around. So thank you, Haley, that you're doing that. I also would like to invite all of you to the Service Appreciation Dinner. That is our volunteer event that will be on October 7th. I know we're hitting you with a double whammy that week. 7th volunteer event, 8th Rosie Mound event. It's at 6 o'clock at Hager Park. We're going to have a fun archery activity first and then have some food. The food is always really, really good. So, if you're into that, come see us. And then we were also due at the end of November. We'll talk more about this at the a Rosie Mound expansion event, but we're going to do some invasive pine removal and see if some folks are interested in a non-traditional Christmas tree.
Oh.
So stay tuned. We haven't done anything like that before, and I think we've got enough pines that we can make it. I would also like to mention, I'm realizing this wasn't in my report, but I don't think that we've talked about it. Very excited in terms of Ottawa Sands that the Ottawa Sands documentary project won a Savvy Award. So another award for that park. That's a City County Communications and Marketing Association award.
Cool.
So, but lots of big budgets for those. So pretty cool. I was really excited. We're excited for him too, and just glad that he's on the team. Let's see. I think that's kind of our big stuff. We were really happy with summer camps, closed out really, really well. We launched our homeschool Eco Explorers, new program that started on Monday, with, I think about 15 kids, which is pretty cool for the first week. So yeah, just things are coming along. We're doing a lot over there, but it's all fun stuff. Happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Jessica?
I have a quickie. What is the Outdoor Discovery Center Network project in Jenison?
They are working with Jenison Public Schools to serve out-of-network families, so homeschool families specifically in that district. So they are looking for different places around the county to conduct some programming.
Okay.
Any other questions? I have,
Oh, go ahead.
you go first.
No, I was just gonna say, I really like that featured event section you have on there. It's great because it's in chronological order and you can say, hey, do I have all this on my calendar?
Yes,
So that's
Yeah.
really
I know
great.
there's a lot of them right now.
Yeah, no, that's really great, Jess. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, I actually have a question. What is the Game Day for Good event?
Yes, so that is a partnership with the Community Action Agency. So that is
Okay.
another department within the county. They are similar to us in that they don't receive any general funds, but also are very prominently funded by federal and state grants. So they are trying to they're doing what they can to diversify their fundraising strategy. I've actually talked with Jed quite a bit about how we got the Parks Foundation started and that, it's potentially an option. But they have their Walk for Warmth program that has evolved over the years, and they're really trying to make that into an efficient fundraiser. So I had a really good meeting with them just to get some advice. It's easy to get bogged down with events and spend more than you bring in or even out and have a lot of work. So what they talked about doing actually was adding a walk to their calendar, and they decided to use a park for that. So they're kind of leaning into the Michigan State rivalry in an effort to raise some money. And Tabitha, our recreation and wellness program lead, will be leading their walk as they
Okay,
be their host.
very good. Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Jessica. Natural Resources Management Report. Neely.
So obviously super busy time of year for natural resources management. Well, thanks, Nick. I love microphones. We always have a lot going on. So lots of invasive species removal as usual, kind of focusing on Phragmites and nearly cattail this time of year, along with Japanese knotweed. And of course, the forest pests like Jessica alluded to. We did an HWA presentation along with a demo of how we treat hemlock trees for HWA at Hemlock Crossing a few weeks ago. And then we had a really, really great reception to that. So that kind of prompted the oak wilt workshop as well. And I will say, even if you don't have oak wilt or don't know anyone that has oak wilt, it will be I was going to say a good time. That's probably exaggerating a little bit, but it'll be informative. And the thing is, of the counties in the region, Ottawa County really has oak wilt worse than a lot of other counties. Once one of these infestations starts, it's like a little flare up, and education is really the best way to stop that. So I encourage everyone to check it out. If you don't have time to check it out, then do your research, read about oak wilt online. Don't cut oaks until it starts to cool down. The DNR says July 15th, April 15th to July 15th, but really we want to wait longer than that to be really safe. We really want to protect our oaks, as we all know. They really encourage biodiversity more than any other tree species. So any genus, excuse me. So yeah, check that out if you get the chance. But yeah, our crew is busy doing a lot of HWA work at Rosie Mound. Obviously, that's a pretty huge undertaking. I think there's over 4,000 hemlock trees at Rosie Mound now, including the expansion area. So they're doing survey and treatments. They're currently working 7 days a week. We are using, yeah, we have some students that have non-traditional schedules, so it works out okay. We've also been recruiting volunteers, and I think I might have mentioned this last month. If anyone knows anyone that would like to learn about HWA treatments, get some hands-on experience and help the parks at the same time, we're accepting volunteers. So there is a Sign Up Genius that I can share with everyone if I haven't already. We've recruited a lot of volunteers for weekends, which makes sense, but we are definitely looking for people during the week and even some weekends too. So if anyone has questions about that, please feel free to let me know. Let's see, a couple of happy things then, moving on from forest pests. Right now, several of our staff are participating in a Southwest Michigan Collaborative Prescribed Fire Week, put on by the Michigan Prescribed Fire Council. So prescribed fire is obviously everyone's favorite method of management, including my own. And I actually was there on Monday. I couldn't stay all week, but I plan to go back tomorrow. And we're actually participating in burns all week. Which will not only give our staff a lot of experience, but there's actually some certifications that we'll gain from it as well. And then just one little happy piece of news at the end. If anyone's familiar with our wild rice populations, we're having a bumper crop this year. So if you haven't seen it yet, check out Stearns Creek and then also Pigeon Creek. Or I'm sorry, Pigeon River at Hemlock Crossing. There's a ton of wild rice this year. Yeah, I think thanks to some fluctuating water levels as well as beavers. So there's beaver dams at both of those spots. So good stuff.
Can you see it from the trails or?
The one at Stearns you can, but you have to go to Stearns Creek North or the property off of 132nd in Cedar. So if you go down the main hill,
Yeah.
then you can get almost to the water and you can see the rice from there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've been checking that rice out for 10 years and I've never seen this much there. So it's pretty exciting.
Okay. Any questions for Neely?
Do you know how late you'll be taking volunteers for the HWA treatments? Like how long?
Yeah, so they plan on working, right now, we're scheduling through November 1st.
Oh, okay.
So, and if we have an unusually warm November, we'll be able to treat into November as well. It's really just a weather thing.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah. And is the photo, this aerial photo, are we looking at the Rosie Mound? All those little dots are where your affected trees are?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of trees.
Yeah, it's a lot of hemlocks.
They're infected,
We're
Trees or they're
assume
just
that they're
treated?
all infested at
Oh,
this
okay.
point. Yeah.
infested, not infected.
Yeah. Potato.
All right. Any other questions?
One more, Neely, regarding the HWA stuff, have you by chance reached out to Boy Scout troops around the county to help with this? That might be an interesting thing for them.
We have not reached out to Boy Scouts. And that's certainly something that's possible. I was thinking about high school students as well. We
Sure,
had that
there's
discussion today because of volunteer hours that are necessary. Yeah.
Well, and I also know that the Grand Haven Public Schools in the high school has an environmental club, and they have quite a few members. So
Okay.
these would be groups to reach out to. And there's somebody here from the school system.
I was
can pass
thinking
that
the
on.
same thing. Yep.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Thanks, Neely.
Thanks, Jane.
All right, we will move on to the development report, and I don't see that Katie is here, but her report is in the packet, so I'm sure Jason could entertain any questions, but
Yep, and then the one thing I would note, and I'm sure you will, the foundation met on last Friday and renewed the grant agreement that funded the staff position for the coordinator. And then that grant agreement will transition the foundation manager over underneath the county as a specialist position, so. we'll bring that forward to the parks.
Yeah.
We reviewed it at the finance committee this past month, but we'll bring it forward. I was waiting until they approved it first, so.
Any other questions about the development report? Okay, thanks, Jason. Strategic plan progress report. So we've got a short report in the packet. Anything you wanted to add to that, Jason, or?
No, not right now.
Yeah, we're
So,
plugging away. Any questions on that? No, always in focus, so.
I will just say, because the strategic plan was feeding right into the parks plan, I didn't mention it. The parks plan is out for public review. It's on the website. So I don't have any preliminary
Yeah.
comments from the public, but I will
Okay.
share those when they come, and you're certainly welcome to continue to make comments or suggestions in the next month or so.
It was front page news.
It did make the front page of the Tribune, didn't it? Yeah.
Did it
So,
It did.
yeah.
All right, good.
great.
Get people out there commenting. All right, we will move on to the visitor.
Jane-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jane, one quick question. Our public hearing on this is the October meeting. A suggestion. We have our meetings from 3 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, which means a whole lot of people that have jobs can't make it to our meeting. And I'm wondering if it would be of any interest to this organization to at least, for that one meeting, have a meeting in an evening.
So I would defer to Jason, but I believe people can submit written comment as part of the public hearing. So if they can't be here, am I correct in that? They could submit.
yes, we have a short survey on the website, but we allow any type of communication, email,
Mhm.
a letter, or in person.
And if it's, addressed to the Parks Commission, it can be included in our packet as communication. So I think that covers, at least some of those challenges.
Yeah, I agree. We did put it at 4 o'clock. Or are going to put it at 4 o'clock to a little bit
Hearing.
later than right at the
Yeah.
beginning. Yeah, like we do with some of the other ones, but.
I think we should do everything we can to have involvement by the public. And I personally feel that meetings should not necessarily be at our convenience, but at the convenience of the public when we're reaching out for significant comment. I think that people come and make public comment, they can do more than just write something. But that's me.
These are streamed and recorded, so if somebody
What
can't make
minutes?
a meeting, there's a library of these available.
And the comments they could make on YouTube that's considered public comment.
We ask that, those get sent in.
Okay.
I'll add that I could adjust my schedule accordingly if we would move.
It's really up to you all. It's
This definitely
it's all
worth
over the place and, right,
considering.
once
Mhm.
every 5 years, if we have a evening meeting,
Mhm.
so I really defer to you. I think there's a lot of avenues that provide opportunities, people to provide feedback, but if the Parks Commission would like to do it.
So we
I'm-
could consider maybe going
Oh, yeah.
4 to 6 for that meeting instead of 3 to 5, and then have the public comment. Well, maybe 5's too early. Maybe it would have to be like 5:30 or something. I don't know what the ideal time is after hours,
I
but
would suggest that we schedule the meeting to begin at 4. And if people get here a little later, then they get here a little later.
I think we
It
have
could
to
just be at the
schedule a
end of the-
that makes sense,
Could just be on the
Susan?
end of the agenda.
And I think we have to schedule a specific time for the public
Yeah.
hearing. So if that were scheduled at 5:30,
Mhm.
we could,
So you need a
Yeah.
motion
How much
for
of the
that.
meeting was that intended to take, as long as it was half an hour?
depends
or
on
less
how,
than-
how many,
Yeah, it would be less than half an hour, I think, right, Kurt? I mean, usually.
Yeah, I mean, historically, we do not get a lot of comments. It isn't the kind of thing that most people are concerned about because it's not specific, but
Or if they do, they write them, they tend not to come to our meeting.
that's true.
But we
That's
can be
true. But
available.
I think we are in luck. We have not formally published the notice of the public hearing, so we could adjust time.
Would any commissioners have a conflict with doing a little bit later meeting that day?
I typically would have, because I have a follow-up meeting after this one.
Okay.
So
That would be a-
I might, I
I'm
might
I'm
have,
available.
typically have to leave here around 5, so.
Okay. Anybody else? Have a conflict? What's the
Yes,
date of
you
that
said-
meeting? That's the
October
22nd.
22.
October 22.
Okay.
I don't
Jason, do you see any issues
I,
with
and
staff
I'll send
being
a
here?
note, I'll send a note right now to the staff, just in the administrator's
You need a
office,
motion for that?
to make sure there isn't an issue with scheduling it. We did, so I think in January, we have formally approved the meeting schedule, so as a formality, it's probably a good idea to change that.
Oh, I see, yeah.
I make a motion that we move the October 22nd meeting to begin at 4 PM vice 3 PM.
Okay, thanks, Lynn. All right. Any other discussion?
I would maybe just also comment, if we do need to have like a closed session that day, we could potentially do that before the regular meeting, if that's reasonable for everybody else.
Yep, so.
I don't know if that's
Yeah, that's
known yet, if we need to,
Okay.
but.
So that would be remain to be seen, but we could do that beforehand. Okay, any other discussion?
Thank you.
No, it's good.
Sorry. So go ahead, Kelly.
No, it was good to bring it up for discussion. Yeah.
To just confirm the availability of this room,
Mhm.
so,
Sure.
and it looks like I'm seeing, I don't know if the staff who coordinate that are in today. So,
Okay, well, we'll find a place to meet, I'm sure, but, all right. Motion,
Wanna stream it, it's gotta be in here.
okay, all right.
we'll assume it's available.
Yeah.
But I will
Confirm
send
that.
confirmation.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of adjusting the time for our October 22 meeting, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. Thanks for bringing that up, Field. All right. Any other questions about the strategic plan or adjunct activities? All right, we will move on to the Visitor and Business Services Report, and that is Nick.
Another busy month in visitor business services. It is back to school time, so a lot of our staff are returning back to school. So we added a couple folks to our team. Cole, who worked for us before at North Beach, joined the team at Idema Explorers Camp as one of our park caretakers. And then Justin joined our team with reservation specialists, helping out at Connor Bayou. One thing that's not on my report was actually really cool. I got a email from Renee the other day. One of our newest employees, Dominic, who works at Idema Explorers Camp as a park caretaker, had a situation where a park guest and his wife, who uses a wheelchair, arrived at the park, and he was power washing. And he noticed them coming to the restroom area. He stopped power washing, moved the hoses and everything out of the way, held the door open for him. It was very pleasant, so much so that Bruce actually called to let us know that he was really impressed by that. He wanted everyone to know what a great experience Dominic made for him and his wife at that park. And something as small as moving a hose out of the way is actually a really big deal for them, because the wheelchair she used would not have gone over that hose easily. So the new customer service program, award program, is just rolled out with the county. So we'll be submitting Dominic for an award on that. So great story. Great to see our staff doing such a great job for the public out there. So other than that, the campground went well in August. We saw a lot of usage on the weekends, and stuff starting to wind down like every campground in Michigan after Labor Day weekend. So we're taking that time now. There's a lot of small projects, improvements, a lot of power washing that we're doing, getting everything squared away there. Also, we've gone through the first summer season, so we are sitting down with all of our employees and talking through what worked well, what didn't, adjusting our procedures from there. And then the big thing in the campground world is looking at a new software system that's currently out to public bid. I've met with a couple companies preliminarily to talk about different features and things that are out there. So we have a good crew put together on that review committee, including Greg, who runs a campground, private campground in the area. So I'm very excited for that. Kind of that timeline looks like we're trying to get somebody under contract at the beginning of November. We want to roll that out live mid-December, because in the world of campgrounds, everyone makes the reservations around the holidays, because that's when they're all together talking about where they're going the next year. So we don't want to miss that window of opportunity. And the biggest part of that is also getting a software that can get us onto other booking platforms, Airbnb, similar places. That's a kind of key to our marketing strategy moving forward. Would be making sure we're in high visibility areas online so people can find us. So even with that, though, I did look at a little bit of occupancy numbers after some mathematical adjustments. Treehouse 8 was at 70% occupancy last month, which was very surprising to me. The other ones, not so much. They're a lot lower than that. But the fact that we're already seeing one unit at 70% is very exciting to me. And we just had some good feedback from our friend Tim, who stayed there last week. They had a wonderful time. So things are looking great for the future of the campground. The marina, I've been working with Jeremy and Ben, trying to learn the seasonal boat slip process. They have seasonal kayak rack rentals, and then personal watercraft docks. So going through that process with them, trying to learn that. One thing I did want to note, how we built the marina, we use DNR funds. So we're using their fee structure. The DNR has decided that all slips are going up $3 per day next year. So our prices will have to go up as well. But outside of that, we're not recommending any changes in increase or decrease in fees at this time. In fact, the marinas around the area are reporting, and we've actually seen this too, a little bit slower use this year. I think it goes back to the economic times we're in. My peers in campgrounds are also seeing that. We've been seeing that for the last 2 years in campgrounds, but it's spreading to marinas now. So might be a little bit lower than last year, but I'm not sure yet. I'll work with Brandy and I have better figures for you at the end of the season. Facility rentals continue to go very strong. Thanks to Brandy for running an updated report for me. We budgeted 171,000 in revenue, and we're at 218,000. So we're about 27% ahead of projected for revenue this year in facilities, which is great. And then, yeah, I just can still, right, it's my 6 month here, so I'm still in the training, learning phase. It's going great. Starting work on Pigeon Creek. I met with Eric and Josh. We're putting a plan together on how we're going to manage and operate that this winter. It's going to go great. Marketing plan for the campground, as I mentioned, working with Jessica and Riley, rolling that out at the same time rolling out the new software. But like I mentioned, the key part of that is being on other platforms where people can book online. And then last weekend, I was able to attend the Michigan Park Association's leadership retreat on Mackinac Island. So met with folks from all over the state. Last year was my first year with the leadership team, and we established the strategic 5-year plan for the organization. So this year we're following up on how things are going. Excited to look at some projects they're working on. They're working on a career roadmap for folks in the Parks and Rec profession, for folks that are new all the way up to director level. So there's some really exciting things happening at MParks. And also able to attend the West Michigan Regional Directors meeting a few weeks ago. A lot of discussion about staffing and other things going on in West Michigan. So all in all, everything's going well in PBS, and happy to answer any questions you have.
All right. Any questions for Nick Field?
Quick questions. Firstly, one of the things that we do with the Road Commission, which is an exciting organization, I can assure you, is we have an annual conference in Lansing, and there are great programs for commissioners. Has MParks considered doing some programs that might be educational for commissioners?
Yeah, actually, they host an annual M-Parks conference every year in March. It's in Lansing this year, and commissioners are welcome to attend that as well. I actually had a commissioner go with me last year from Newaygo County. He had a really good time. He did just the one-day conference package. It's 2 or 3 days, but there's all different kinds of sessions. I'm going to be leading a session this year on campgrounds. Last year, I led a session on the Dragon Trail. So there's a lot of folks that are working in the field in Michigan leading sessions, but they also have a lot of people from around the country come in as well. And there's anything from senior centers to maintenance to legislative training. Jason did a panel last year on politics. Jason Berger did a program on dog parks. So I would encourage, if you're interested, I'd love to have you come along.
My question are to have some programs that are commissioner specific. Those would be, I think, valuable things. So you might, if you have any input into the future program, Nick,
Yeah.
you might want to suggest that.
Yeah, I can talk to Nicole about that and see what they have now and what we could have in the future. That's a great
Second
idea.
one, and I don't care what the answer is, yes or no.
Yeah.
Do we sell fuel at the marina?
We do not.
Okay, thanks.
But you can pump it. You can pump out your,
You can pump out. Well, that's wonderful as long as it doesn't go in the lake.
Yeah, we do provide a pump out service, and our staff will handle that for you.
Do you charge for that?
We do.
Good.
and we can, Ohio's Parks and Rec Association had a board development institute. It was separate from the conference, I think, but we can, it's been a number of years, but we can.
Either way, I just think if the more we know what's going on and what's on other people's minds and ideas that they have, I think that's good for us.
Yeah, just so you know about the gas, I think once you have gas, it's a whole another
Well, I don't
ballgame,
want it.
right? We don't want it.
I don't
but-
want it either,
And it's
sorry.
available right across the lake at Aldean's, I believe.
I'm
has-
not
has it.
advocating.
No, but I was just saying, it's easy, it's so close that we didn't even really consider too much duplicating.
One unique thing we do have is an ice cream slip, because there's so many people that stop for ice cream. We've actually designated a slip for people to stop, get out, walk down to the general store and back, and it's the ice cream slip.
Cool.
So, yeah. Well, I need an ice cream cone for the dock. right?
I have another quick question for Nick. What are your thoughts on the usage of the Hager Park picnic building? When I look at those stats, you're at 40% of what.
Yeah, I'm
expected.
actually meeting with Colin tomorrow, so I can ask him about that. I'm not familiar, I'm not an expert in that realm yet. So part of the facility use plan is I'm actually going out and meeting with all the staff. So I'm halfway through meeting with all the supervisors to get their feedback on usage, things we could do better, things we should change. And then that'll roll into the facility use recommendation we send to the Parks Commission.
Great.
So,
Be interested in that.
And that was probably one of the reasons why the number's a little bit lower. That's where we held our summer camp all summer. So all summer long, it was.
yeah, it was
Okay,
taken up by
that
summer
makes
camp all
sense.
summer, so. And then part of that plan, right, we'll establish like, what are the uses of each facility? So we may have budgeted for 30,000 this year. And maybe when that budget was set, that didn't account for that summer camp use. I don't know for sure.
It definitely did not.
It did not,
It
so-
it also is, it's not air conditioned and the other facilities at Hager Park are. So people tend to go to the visitor center first, and if it's not available, then that building.
Good. So make sure we're balancing out maintenance with what you're expecting from revenue.
Correct.
That work. Yep.
And that'll roll into the business plan. We're going to be looking at what's the actual cost of operating each building and how we should set rates or set expectations for each one.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Nick? Kelly?
So it kind of maybe goes along with what Paul just said, but so do we have, or will we have outdoor facilities and marina numbers that will eventually roll into this? Because we would have budget numbers for those too, correct? Not just the indoor facilities?
As far as the facility use plan,
Yeah, or just revenue we bring in from people renting picnic shelters?
yeah, I could put anything you want in this plan, are you talking about the report?
Yeah, the table's really great.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
we
I
can
just thought
incorporate
if you're
that. We can put,
tracking the other
yeah,
ones,
we
maybe
can put
just-
outdoor shelter revenue in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or just all the facilities instead of just the indoor ones and
Sure.
just curiosity.
Yeah,
Okay,
no problem.
Thanks.
Brandy's
It's
taking
great.
notes.
And I did ask him to include the expenses going forward.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
That way we have,
That'd be
right,
nice.
a full picture
Super.
of, looking at revenue is only one,
Right.
one side of it, so.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for Nick? Comments? Okay, thank you, Nick. I think you're up again for the visitation monthly report. That's Aaron, sorry.
News to me.
Aaron. Opa.
Thanks to Mark.
I think it's-
I had passed out, I had a copy of the, copy from a pivot table to the PowerPoint. Don't have much to add.
So any question? This is an adjunct to that, right?
Replacement for slide number 69?
Duplicated.
Yeah, slide number 69 is replaced by this.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, 69, yep, okay. Anything you wanted to highlight, Aaron, or?
Let's stand, I can mention there's one other, October 1st, it's the Michigan Outdoor Summit. I think there's tickets open till tomorrow.
Okay,
That involves, it's a little different than M Parks. It involves, it's organized by Heart of the Lakes in coordination with the DNR. Heart of the Lakes is the, like the state organization for the land conservancies, but it includes both public people, natural resource people, nonprofits, and private, like enthusiasts. So that's a pretty cool one. If you have time to go to Traverse City, I'll be on a panel at that one for skiing stuff, not for.
okay. Any questions for Aaron? Thanks for all of the color-coded charts and stuff. That's helpful. Thanks. Okay. That wraps up our staff report, so we'll move on to committee reports. Executive committee, I'll take that since Kelly's voice is failing her. Yeah, we met like we normally do prior to this meeting, went over agenda items, talked a bit about the agenda for the bus tour and what would be expected of the commissioners who went along on that. So we kind of went through that day. You'll notice later in the agenda, we have several resolutions that we're going to be voting on. And so we reviewed those and the trail naming items that are coming up for us. So that's kind of it. Anything I left out, Kelly or Lucas? Jason? I think that's.
Well, I made a couple notes in my report, but just, the coordination and organization of the tour, is quite a bit of work. And it's been a busy spring and summer here, and staff did an amazing job. So thank you to Kurt and Aaron and Jessica and Riley and everybody and all the operations folks for pitching in. And I think it was an amazing tour, and we got to see some new parklands and yeah. So Steph
And
did.
whoever was in charge of
great
the
job.
weather, thank you for that. That was perfect.
Did you have good attendance on that?
And
As far as the board?
I think over throughout the day, we have 5 or 6?
5 or 6, yeah.
So a couple had to come and go,
Sure.
but
Quite a
yeah.
few township partners showed up
Yep.
and
Nice.
participated, so that was great.
Mr. Teeples was with us the whole day. John Teeples was.
Yep,
Oh.
chair of the board was with us all day.
Good,
Yep.
good.
He had good questions.
Awesome.
All right, we'll move on to the planning committee, and that is you, right, Lucas?
Yes, that's me.
Okay.
As usual, Kurt and Aaron put together perfect minutes of that meeting. So summarized the meeting quite well. Just some highlights, some things we discussed maybe a little more in detail. With the rec plan, we talked about snowmaking at Pigeon Creek, and so that kind of evolved into like a sustainability concept for for Pigeon Creek is, as we had challenges with snow out there over the years. And so just looking at those facilities in maybe a different lens as we move forward. And we talked about utilities out at the camp at Ottawa Sands to I think it's just the tree houses, correct? Or the yurts too. Yeah. Yep. So looking at some possibilities of water and sewer facilities there to the units. And then we talked briefly about the Crockery Creek natural area as well, and the possibility of expanding that park someday.
Nice. Any questions for Lucas? All right, thank you. We will move on to me, Community Engagement Committee. We met, I think, the day before our last commission meeting, but Jessica included her report this month. So we, just a couple things, talked about the dissolution of the Ottawa County, Friends of the Ottawa County Parks, and I believe that's going to officially happen immediately following this meeting. Their annual meeting is going to happen. And so Jessica kind of updated us on rolling in that branding into our parks department, and how that'll all happen, and the nice things that we will be able to do based on the donation of the resulting funds from the Friends. So we talked a bit about that. Strategic planning update, and we touched a little bit on what Nick, or Paul, you asked about in terms of facility usage, which is really working closely between departments or between divisions on facility usage. So, which of those we need to think about reserving for some of our programming versus revenue generating facilities, and how to balance that. And so there's good collaboration and discussion going on about how to balance all that out. It's, the more educational programming we offer, the more challenging it becomes to find space for all of that. And so everyone's working together really well on that. Let's see here. I think both Neely and Jessica in their reports talked about the cross fertilization too between divisions, training nature education staff with natural resources management stuff, and vice versa, and other divisions as well. So that's also kind of a neat cross pollination, so that everybody is, at least familiar with what the other divisions are doing. So a lot of good stuff happening. Obviously, we talked about the trail dedications and the events that are coming up as well. So happy to answer any questions on that. Or if I missed anything, Bruce or Linda or Martin. Okay. Great. Then we will move on to the finance and policy, and that's Linda.
So a good chunk of what finance and policy is going to report on briefly, you will have in resolutions and motions to approve. First thing is was a request for operational support from the foundation, which we do twice a year. The staffing grant, which for the Parks Foundation, and the change to that, which Jason will discuss when we get to that in the meeting, but we went over it extensively in the finance committee. So that was good. There were 3 easements that the finance committee saw that we're going to be voting on later. We did review quarterly financial statements. You don't not get to see them, but we drag through them, and you'll see them the next quarter. Because we were looking at June numbers, which we had already sort of been through here. We just went through them a little further. The Ottawa County Parks Foundation submitted their annual for information only audit of their organization. We talked about the closure of the Bend gravel site because of the work that's going to be done in the open space area that's going to, and there, I don't know if we are talking about that or not, but there's some work going to happen. Collaboration we do with the Parks Foundation. I mean, this meeting was significantly about that. And we talk about how much we get done because of what the grants that we get, and that is absolutely for certain. But we couldn't do a good chunk of what we do also without the Parks Foundation. So they'll have their annual meeting next month. That's one of the things that if you'd like to attend, it's a very short meeting, but I think they would appreciate seeing some of the commissioners at their meeting. So, because they give us a lot of money. I think that's it for me.
Okay, any questions for Linda? All right, thanks, Linda. We will move on to the foundation report, and I will just do that very quickly. A lot of the things that the foundation talked about at their meeting last Friday are showing up on our agenda, so I won't repeat that. One thing to note is that at the annual meeting on October 8th, which you're all invited to, there will be, we will welcome new foundation board members and say goodbye to at least one as well. And so you're invited for that. There will be new officers elected for next year. The foundation's been really active with recruitment and getting new people involved in their committees and that type of thing. So it's going to be a nice night, especially since we'll be out at Rosie Mound. We're going to include the dedication of that space with Alice's Trail, which I'm hoping this weather holds. So keep your fingers crossed, guys. It should be really nice. And also, Foundation's being very proactive with their events for next year. We have dates already for the breakfast lunch and the Grand Explorers Trail Race. The lunch breakfast is going to be June 11, and the race will be June 20. Bobby Sabine is going to do her Piece Together Parks puzzle event again, waiting on a date for that. That's dependent on the Eagles' schedule. So keep your eyes open for that. That's all I have. If there's any questions, I will be happy to answer them. All right, then we shall move on. And we will move on to some old business, which is our grant status report. In the interest of time, I think, we've got a really complete report here. So if, Aaron, I'm sure you're able to take questions if there are any, but I don't know that we have to go over it in detail. I really appreciate, the format here with updates and color-coded prompts and all that good stuff. So are there any questions or anything you really want to highlight, Aaron?
No, unless there's questions.
Okay. Anybody have any? Looks like there's a lot on the plate here, so thanks for that update. I know that takes a while to put together, so thank you.
I have one, and it's because of my, I don't know the difference, but under the item Explore Trails Bass River segment, there are two agreements. There's agreement number 1, agreement number 2, and I was a little confused there.
They're both with the DNR, and it goes through two things here. And they were, because they're separate funding sources, so they're separate contracts.
Okay.
So
I assume there are different pots, and that's why they're different.
however they
There are
got
two
it,
of them, and they were different numbers, but
So they're, different numbers, and that's why they're in the report.
thanks.
Any other questions for Aaron? Okay, we will move on to new business. And our first order of new business is a presentation. And that is by the Grand Haven Area Public Schools District. And we have Assistant Superintendent Jason Reinecke here with us. So welcome, Jason.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you having me, allowing our district to come and talk about kind of the state of our district and what we're doing right now. We do have a slideshow. I can punt and certainly just talk to it. But basically, thank you on behalf of our cabinet team, our superintendent, Kristen Prokowski, myself, and the other members have really been trying to get out and engage with our stakeholders. And the timing is right now. We just completed a strategic plan, which the 3 areas of focus are included in that presentation. But we're also just now starting on a master planning process. And so the strategic plan, the results are out. We've been talking with our stakeholders, meeting with our communities, our PTOs, our staff, and really just kind of talking through that. But this, like I said, this next energy is really being dedicated to the master plan, more of the physical parts of our district and the buildings, the facilities. So if you go to the, so 2 things I'm going to draw. This is an about us slide, but there's 2 things that I'm going to highlight. I'm going to try to keep it brief. Is one, we are down over 1,000 students since 2013. So our enrollment as of today for this school year sits just under 5,100. And back in 2013-14, Grand Haven Area Public Schools had over 6,300 students. So that is something we need to consider when we're talking to our community about how our buildings or facilities are organized throughout the district. The other piece of this that is very loud and clear, I don't know if any of you are Grand Haven residents, is the age of our facilities. The average age of our building is 62 years old. And so we have somewhat of a facilities, maybe not quite a crisis, but where our facilities are in dire need of help and we have declining enrollment. So our goal is really to partner with our community and try to figure out how do we move forward. And so if you go to the next slide. One thing we really have been stressing, because not everyone knows this within our residential boundary, but you can go all the way up to Grand Traverse Pie Company at the border of Norton Shores and Fruitport, and that is our district. You can go all the way southeast to the Embassy Grill in Robinson Township, and that is our school district. And you can go all the way south to the Campbell Power Plant in Port Sheldon Township, and that is our district. And the reason why that is important is we have a lot of differing viewpoints and stakeholders when you think about the large geographical area that our district covers. So we're trying to take all of this into consideration and meet with people where they're at. And like I said, really try to collaboratively come up with how we're going to move forward. Here, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but our strategic plan right now revolves around 3 things. The relevant, engaging learning. At the end of the day, it really is all about teaching and learning. So that's got to be at the heart of what we're doing. However, part of that is going to be starting to identify what does learning look like in 2025 to 2035 that might be different than what we've been doing, or what might we want to reintroduce. We're seeing a huge demand in the trades development areas. The pendulum kind of swung away from that for a while in education. And so trying to find ways to bring in innovative learning, trades learning, I imagine will be a part of that. Fiscal responsibility and sustainability. I think every school district strives to meet those criteria. And then communication, transparency, and trust. And that's part of the reason I'm here today. And I was at a staff meeting this morning and 2 PTO meetings yesterday after school, is we really want to just be open and honest with people, listen to what they have to say, and like I said, find a path forward. This is an illustration of the facilities crisis I kind of mentioned. This is a facility condition index, and essentially what it does is it takes the replacement cost, renovation cost, and compares it to the replacement cost. So in other words, what would it take to completely renovate a building versus the cost to just knock it down and build a new one? And obviously, the higher that renovation cost is, the worse the condition of the building is. And so our district average is around 68% when you look at that FCI index. What people refer to as our new building, which is almost 30 years old, Grand Haven High School, is already into the fair. I mean, fair category. And we try to relate that to think about our homes. After 30 years of living in a home, there's some major things that you need to start doing. And one of those at Grand Haven High School right now is a new roof. And a new roof for a high school of that size costs $4 million. And that's a large sum of money. So I just wanted to illustrate just kind of where our facilities are at. And so we take all of these things into consideration when we are talking about launching into this master plan process. And so what we did probably about 3 weeks ago, we started this process by sending a survey out to our community, and it gave 3 different concepts. And we soon realized that a lot of people in our community didn't necessarily want to attach their liking or their dislikes to a particular concept, but parts of a concept. So if you move forward, what we've you can go another one. What we've done now is we've broken it up, and now we're getting feedback based on kind of the learning level. So elementary considerations, middle school considerations, and high school considerations. And I just want to mention 2 definitions as I transition into those considerations. There's one term that we're using right now is the potential decommission of a building. That would mean we no longer use that school building as a school, but our intent would be to work with our community to find a path forward of what they want to do with that. So by decommissioning it, we would have to follow the regulations that you need to follow to maintain a vacant building, but there would not be a plan to either get rid of it or sell the property. It means that we would be working with the community. And then the next definition is, you can go to the next slide, is heavy renovations. And when we say heavy renovations, it really means heavy renovations. We're basically gutting the entire building. So the reason why this is important is almost all of our school buildings do not have air conditioning. That we are somewhat unique in our area and in our state that most of our schools do not have air conditioning. And so we had to be really intentional for our families and our teachers and our students that when we talk about heavy renovation, that includes air conditioning, but new bathrooms, all of the things that go along with that. So we are essentially presenting 2 high school considerations to our community. One is to take our current alternative ed high school, Central High School. It sits in the city limits, and its enrollment is at about 50 students this year, and move it into our high school, and they would have their own wing. Part of that is because with declining enrollment, we now have less students in the high school. We have some flexibility there. There are also some things that alternative ed students could take advantage of on that campus. So that would be consideration 1. Consideration number 2, if you go to the next slide, would be to keep Central as a separate entity, a separate building. And basically, we're not necessarily defining that location, but just committing to keeping Central separate. The second slide is on the middle school consideration. So there's 3 different considerations on this slide. I'll try to move through them somewhat quickly. And how many are Grand Haven? A few. Oh, wow. Awesome. So you'll know the language when I'm talking about White Pines and Lakeshore, but essentially the first concept that we're asking for feedback is moving our entire 5, 6, and 7, 8 learning campus to the current White Pines, which is our 5th and 6th grade building. So creating a 5th through 8th grade campus on our east side of town. We'll work on some traffic flow issues that have long been there around Beechtree and Robbins, and we hope that this could alleviate some of that. The second option would be to build a new Lakeshore Middle School at its current site. That's on the west side of downtown, if you've been down there. And so we would build a new 7th and 8th grade building on that site, just to the north of where the current structure sits. And that would mean that the 5th and 6th grade would remain over at the current White Pine site. The third one is that we would turn the current Lakeshore Middle School site into a 6th through 8th grade building and move the 5th graders back to the elementary level. So there's 3 different options there. If you go on to the elementary considerations, there's also 3 options. As of last year, We had 7 elementaries. We had to make a really difficult and, really difficult decision and process to consolidate one, turn it into an early childhood, which has been really, really exciting. We're partnering with the Outdoor Discovery Center. We already have a wait list for preschool learning at that building, but we had to start consolidating some of our elementary buildings. And so our proposals, or our 3 considerations, are to go down to either 3 elementaries, 4 elementaries, or 5 elementaries. And depending on the consideration, they're throughout our residential area. And so those are the elementary considerations. And this is something we've been showing our community quite a bit. So this is a heat map of where elementary aged children live in our community. And the red areas are more densely populated areas, the green are less densely populated. And you can really see how that the density of population has really migrated out towards the township in the southeast there. We still have quite a bit of residential population, or elementary population east side of downtown. And so, that's something we're taking into consideration as well. But it's just kind of good to know where these kids are coming from when we're making these decisions. So that's essentially it. We've gone to our community and we're seeking feedback. I will stay after if anyone has any questions, particularly if you're a resident in Grand Haven. But we have presented these options to our community. It might be A, B, C. It might be a combination or something that hasn't even been brought up yet. And then the last slide is, if you want to take a survey, we'd love to hear your feedback, especially if you're a community member.
Right, thank you. Good info. We're going through some of the same processes here with the school. So thanks for being here, Jason. Appreciate that. All right. Our next order of new business involves 3 easements for the Idema Explorers Trail. We've got multiple parcels here, and so I would entertain a motion to get this on the floor.
I'll make that motion as it came from the Finance Committee has seen this.
Linda, second? Anybody?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Martin, thank you. All right. Kurt's got it all pretty much laid out here. It looks like it's very similar to our other easements that we've approved. And as Linda said, this did come before the Finance and Policy. So is there any questions or discussions?
I have a quick question. Are we looking for other easements in that area as well? Or these 3 cover everything?
No, we're still working
Right.
on others.
If we don't get the others, do we pay these?
So that was discussed at Finance when the group, we're not doing them. Kurt used to run around, Kurt and Jason used to run around and do them. Now we have an entity, a company that is doing that. So, I mean, we kind of move forward as Kurt kind of discussed the other day. I thought you did anyway.
So even though we don't have all the ones we need, we're going to go ahead and pay these?
Yes. Yeah, that's traditionally what we've been doing all
Okay,
along.
I
So we
just
pick them up
seems-
as we can. So, any other questions, discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, our next order of business is the closure of the portion of the Bend area open space at the Grand Rapids gravel site. So there is a suggested motion in your packet. Do I have anyone willing to make that motion?
I'd move that.
Thank you, Bruce. Is there a second?
Support?
Thank you, Lucas. All right. Any questions about that? This also was reviewed at Finance and Policy, but it's fairly standard, so. Martin, any questions?
Thing that's worth noting, and the reason why it's good to do this, and the reason why we implemented it with the easement that was discussed earlier is, once it's closed, it provides law enforcement, right, can cite people
Yeah,
for being
Keith
there.
to be able to do things.
And so you enclosed a memo that kind of Goes through all of those reasons. Okay. Any other discussion or questions? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. That motion carries as well. Next up is the foundation's Ottawa County Parks Foundation fiscal year 2025 operational support invoice. This also was reviewed by Finance and Policy. And do I have a motion regarding this?
I'll make that motion.
Linda?
I'll support that motion.
Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, we talked a little bit about this earlier. Jason included it in his report. It was also part of the foundation's agenda last week. Are there any questions about that? Okay, foundation's been very generous in agreeing to fund these projects. So now we're collecting our agreed upon money. So any other questions, discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And that motion carries as well. And next, we have the foundation's audit just for our information to accept. And Angela is here as well in case anybody has any questions, but the documents are included in your packet, standard procedure that the foundation does every year. And according to our MOU with them, they share it with us. So could I have a motion to accept that?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Your support?
Support?
Thank you, Lucas. Are there any questions about that? Foundation does a great job. Good relationship with the audit group, so. Angela, anything you want to highlight or? Okay. Then we'll take a vote. All those in favor of accepting, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. That passes as well. Thanks for being here, Angela, and all your hard work on behalf of the foundation. Very much appreciated. Okay. So next order of business is naming of park trails. And let me find that in my packet here a sec. Okay. All right, this also was reviewed by Finance and Policy Committee. We've got both the Alice Hoban Dune Loop Trail and the Bobby Jones Sabine Connector Trail. So two great supporters of our park system. Is there a motion to approve
Make the
this?
motion as suggested.
Okay, thank you, Martin.
I'll support.
Thank you, Bruce. Any questions or Jason, anything you want to stress on this?
Nope. So, worked with the executive committee, and if you all recall, earlier this year, we passed a policy giving us some guidance on naming of various facilities. So I included that just as a reference. For those two individuals, we also included a resolution that during the various ceremonies, I think Kelly, if she gets her voice back by
Yeah,
then,
right.
she'll read to them. So.
Yeah,
I would just, anyone who can attend these, if you don't know these two individuals, they have given literally decades of service to parks, and it would mean a lot, I think, if you're available to come and help celebrate during the trail dedications for both of these folks. So just giving them a shout out because they laid some good groundwork for those of us who are sitting here right now.
They absolutely did. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
As review, for Bobby Sabine, it's on the 2nd, and the other one is on the 7th.
Yeah,
Is
the
that
8th,
correct?
I think. The 2nd and the 8th.
Okay.
Alice's is on the 8th.
Okay.
Bobby's
On
is
the-
on
on the
the
8th.
Advantage
seventh.
of the,
and-
the Rosie Mound
Oh,
dedication.
okay,
to-
right.
Yeah, if you have a calendar invite for the Rosie Mound dedication,
I
there's a
do.
lot happening on that
Yeah, I
day,
do.
so
There's like
it's-
second,
yeah,
seventh,
right,
and eighth, but,
Right.
okay.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Carries. Thank you. We also have a resolution honoring the Friends of the Ottawa County Parks. And so, as noted earlier, the Friends organization will vote to disband this evening after many, many, many years of partnership and support for our parks. And so there is a resolution included in your packet honoring them. Do I have a motion to?
So moved.
Thank you, Linda. Is there support?
Support that motion.
You? All right, any discussion?
I just want to say one thing.
Yeah.
When we moved here in 2017, the first group of people that were really, really welcoming and open were the Friends of Ottawa County Parks. In 2018, all three of the Golden Girls started volunteering with and then served on the board at different times, and I served as the rep for a while. They are a group of people that will do anything and will continue to do anything. They were the volunteers. They were Neely's park stewards. They were the people that went out and did all of the stuff that we now have a lot of staff to do that we didn't have. They did it when John was starting things up. And the only reason that they're really slowing down is because they're older and not as able as to get out and do some of the things that they have always done. Some of them will continue to work with the foundation and with the volunteers that Carly handles and that Neely does. But you talk about people that have put blood, sweat, and tears into these parks for over 20 years. It's the folks at the foundation or the Friends. So if you know any of them, thank them at some point because they've done a lot of work.
Well said. Yep. Any other comments, questions? All right, then we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And we do have one more resolution, and this is honoring Margie Vivine. You're probably aware that the Parks Department and Parks Commission dedicated a bench to Margie, placed up in Eastmanville Farms near the cemetery that she did so much to restore and catalog. And she was just thrilled with that. She's been an active park supporter for a long, long time. So we have a resolution honoring Margie as well in your packet here. So I would entertain a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Thank you, Lucas. Is there support?
Support.
Thank you, Joe. All right, any discussion? The dedication, the verbiage for Margie's bench was a collaborative effort, but most thanks go to Bobby Sabine for writing that lovely tribute. So if you get a chance, walk up the hill at Eastmanville Farms and see that bench, take a seat. It's really nice view from there, really lovely. Okay, we will put it to a vote then. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And you'll need a rest when you get to the top of that hill. I'm just telling you. So the bench is a nice thing.
It is in a good spot to take a little rest. All right, that brings us to the end of our action items. So second opportunity for public comment. Anyone care to make a comment? If not, we will move on to Commissioner's prerogative. Field, I'll start down at your end. Okay, Joe?
No, I just want to say I apologize for not making the parks tour. I had planned on it until that morning when I had other calls that came in that I had to take care of business, so I could not make it. But I heard it went great, so thank you for everybody that, number one, participated, organized, and did it. So thank you. That's all I got.
Martin.
I'll just continue that as someone who was able to go. I really, really appreciated it. It was very evident all the work you guys put in, and I had a great day. So thank you.
Linda.
What they said.
Okay. Kelly?
Just a shout out, or I think everyone has an invite, but if you have time this evening, Friends of Ottawa County Park is having their annual meeting, probably their last one. So if you're available, I think it starts at 6:30 at Hemlock Crossing. Hopefully I have that right, but I know everybody kind of got an invite for that, but everyone's welcome to show up if you have time. So.
Lucas.
So I had the pleasure of attending a herpetology seminar this morning, hosted by the Michigan Wetlands Association. So just what we're doing is great stuff that supports herpetology. I've never even heard of herpetology until.
Can't say that anymore.
Right. But at any rate, it's, as Turtle Dave put it, turtles have been around for 200 million years, and pretty much all of the species are on the decline right now. So the work we're doing here is probably helping turtles, and all of the herpetology, the salamanders and lizards and so on. But great program. The other thing is, when you read the strategic plan and the rec plan and all of the staff reports, my mind swirls with appreciation for how much work staff does here. So I know you hear that often, but there's a lot going on and a lot of juggling. So as a commissioner and a resident of Ottawa County, it's high regards to you guys for all you do.
All right. Thanks, Lucas. Bruce, anything?
I just wanted to comment on the documentary on Ottawa Sands that was inserted in this packet. That movie is incredible. History, the start to finish, the restoration, natural resources and other folks have done. It is the quality of the, Jessica and Riley have done a lot of work in that, as well as the rest of you of the park staff that were involved in that, being interviewed in that documentary, as well as other folks that were involved in the development of the park and the campground. That documentary is top notch. It's just really amazing. And for those of us that were not involved on the ground floor, it kind of got us up to speed a little bit. So anyway, it was great. Thank you.
Paul?
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Okay. Just one real quick thing. Shout out to those who were involved in the partnership with the bird banding event. We went for the first Saturday, and really interesting, learned a lot. It was well organized and pretty well attended, and there were plenty of birds coming out of their little bags, to put bands on. And so if you're able to go on the 27th, that's the second one. That it was really interesting out at Ottawa Sands, and it's just a cool partnership with the organization doing that work. So it was really fun. It was cool to see these young people volunteering too. So there were some young kids out there assisting with the banding and then letting the birds go and stuff. So had quite a few different species too. So that was really nice. All right, that brings us to the end of our public meeting. So we will, I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session, and
Okay, I'm not doing it again.
I'll make that motion.
thank you. Is there support? Okay, thanks. I think we need a roll call for this, or no? Yep. Okay, roll call.
That's me. All right. Bush, Greenlee,
Yes.
Harris.
Yep.
Hill,
Yes.
Kyers, absent. Longstreet,
Yes.
McCaffrey,
Yes.
Field.
It's talking.
Field.
Rice,
Yes.
Sacks.
Field, do you want to vote to go into closed
I
session?
think he said yes.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you. Staff can be